to. Chuffing forever. Oh, just unplug the headphones in my foot then. That was a good move. That was a top move. That was a profi move. Trod on the chuffing headphone while I pull my headphone out. Hello, Chuffy12. Hello, Chuffy12. Yes, I can be heard. This is Ganji Kid. I might have to stop calling it Ganji Kid. We're in the market for a new name. I'm Scott. Battery exhausted. Grave Kipper. Ganji Kid. True Binaural ASMR. Hi, you're with Scott. This is the stream. It's midnight. It's always midnight. This is your right ear. This is your left ear. It's Monday. It's always Monday. It's Mental Health Monday. It's 8 PM GMT. You used to have a little introduction line. Don't you? You have a little introduction line. Just like with one simple little thing, one simple introduction line, like, and it's catchy and it's unique. Hi, you're with Scott. It's ASMR time. It's midnight. It's always midnight. That was it. But I kept saying this is your right ear and this is your left ear because I was checking the ASMR on the binaural. That got thrown in there. This is your right ear. This is your left ear. Now, because it's not just hi, you're with Scott. It's ASMR time. It's not ASMR time. Hi, you're with Scott. This is stream time. It's midnight. It's always midnight. Don't have to do the right ear, left ear anymore, really. This is your right ear. This is your left ear. We just do it because it's part. And then now I also say this is Mental Health Monday. It's Monday. It's always Monday. It's 8 PM GMT. So it's just getting a bit overblown. It's just getting a bit bloated, the introduction. Me chuffing. Been on stream earlier on YouTube, so check that out in your own time. Like this, look. This is how you do it. I'll show you how you do it. If you're watching this on YouTube, you already know. Everyone in the world already knows. What do you mean everyone knows? Your channel, it says Ganji Kid, we might change that. Look out for that. We're in the market for a new name. Of course, the Tippy system is /Ganji. That's going to stay the same. Shit. But we're in the market for a new name. Today we've been doing Tesla, Tartaria, free energy. It's not so much conspiracy theory, more reality check. We were having a good look at Tesla and electricity, what electricity is and how it works. I've been breaking my brain for a week and a half on that, preparing that episode, because it kind of, they suggest in the Tartaria world that what's the Tartaria world? I'll tell you, it's all pertinent to what we're doing today on stream. There's a conspiracy theory that reckons that there's been like a hidden history. Some 700 years have been binned off, a mud flood. They dug out the buildings, they discovered them, and these buildings originally created free energy, and we just don't know how to do it because we didn't build that shit, we just found it. That's the conspiracy theory. We've been talking about it on stream. My stream is a variety stream. Here on Twitch, we mainly play the games, but you'll notice I stop and talk a lot of chuff all the time. I talk a lot of chuff all the time, but I mainly play the games here on Twitch, and when I'm just talking chuff, we stream on YouTube in the daytime, 2 PM GMT, and I talk some chuff. We also play games over there, we also talk chuff over here. I've got a foot in both camps. I'm a variety streamer. Recently it's been more Genshin Impact, and Genshin Impact's a huge game and I'll be playing a lot of it. Doesn't mean I won't play other games as well, but recently it's been more Genshin Impact. You know how that works. If you're a streamer, a gamer, if you play games, you'll know what I'm talking about. You end up falling into a groove with a game for a bit, but it's not forever. It might not be forever. It might be forever. Maybe I love Genshin Impact forever. Genshin forever. But it might not be forever. But at the moment, we're in a bit of a groove with that. So my variety stream seems to be just two things. Genshin Impact and conspiracy theory, because we've fallen into a bit of a groove with that as well. But that groove's a weird groove, right? Because it's not just that these people have funny ideas and we've been doing streams about it on YouTube. We've got a playlist, the Tartaria playlist. It's not just that weird conspiracy theory thing that I just mentioned. It's not just that. We did look at that, looking at the Great Mud Flood Reset, star forts, and we came across this character called Martin, and he believes the earth is flat and all sorts. And then we looked at John Levi and The Lost Generation of 1890, and then we looked at Martin again because he was doing some other interesting stuff. And then we looked at Michelle Gibson, and we've looked at Autodidactic, and then we looked at Martin again, because what happened was, instead of it just being the normal conspiracy stuff, somebody was saying, oh, he's a bad man and he's been stealing my money, and we put this tour on together and he was a bad man and he stole my money and he manipulated me, and people need to know about what a bad man he is. And then he made a response video to say, I'm not a bad man. So we had a little look at that, and now that's gone beyond conspiracy theory. It's gone into human lives, and you might call it drama, but I did a body language breakdown of the girl's testimony, the lady's testimony, and I also looked at the dark side of Martin. So you might call it drama, but I see it as human psychology, and it's interesting to see that from a start point of interesting conspiracy, I say interesting, that I've put the laughing face on, what the fuck, interesting conspiracy theory. From that start point, we've moved into a slightly different facet of the prism, and we're looking at human emotion and body language and psychology there through that prism. And then during that, Jade suggested we looked at Jade's channel, and she said that in Blackpool they had this tower, and that the tower was there because of hidden technology. It was there to either pump out free power or take in free power or whatever. It obviously isn't, but it brought up the ideas of Tesla. Someone in the chat was talking Tesla, so we did our episode today on Tartaria, Tesla and free energy. So I've had to spend a week and a half learning about Chuffing. I've had to spend a week and a half learning about Chuffing. God, learning about electricity and physics and all sorts. I'm exhausted after all that. Yeah, you know what? Today I felt, and I'm the Tommy Cooper of Twitch. Oh, I can't see the top here. Let's get that one. I'm the Tommy Cooper. Just like that. My stream does feel like that sometimes, doesn't it? Capital K will testify to that. That it absolutely feels like a bit shambolic sometimes. It's over here. No, it's over here. I haven't got the sounds on. Where's the screen? I'm getting on. Tommy Cooper was actually quite a polished act, you know, wasn't he? He was quite polished, wasn't he? He was quite polished. He knew he actually was so good at it that he could do it and make it look like he was fucking up. I'm not that. I'm not that good at it that I make it look like I'm just fucking up. But yeah, nice to have you both here again. Yeah, it gets a bit exhausting, and I'll say again, and I reiterate it over and over all the time, but let's not use the chat on those episodes to have a big row with conspiracy people. Let's just hope we can reach them with some ideas through some of this and make their lives better. Because there are some comments that go past that I look at and I think, well, if I start talking about that, then I've got to put my episode aside, which on Mental Health Monday today, I'm always happy to put the episode aside and talk about anyone's feelings in chat. That's fine. But when we're doing Tesla, I can't suddenly start talking about chuffing this and chuffing that and whether dinosaurs powered the moon. Like, I just have to keep on track. So I hope we don't get too many arguments in the chat there. And yeah, today I feel like I've already done my work. And sitting down to Mental Health Monday, I feel like I should have another hour in the day before this now. I'm a bit surprised that it's 8 o'clock already. But it is. So I'm happy to do it. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy to do it. We're going to push on with our conversation about mental health and conspiracy theory. That's why I'm talking about all this. This is the space where I feel a lot more relaxed and comfortable and calm, which is why I've got my relaxing calm music on, relaxing photographs. And we were looking at copy link. We're midway through, so you can find the Mental Health Monday on the Ganja Kid channel as well if you wanted to see what we started talking about from the very start. There's my face there, conspiracy theories, mental health, there it is. I haven't done a special thumbnail. Eventually this will have its own playlist. Eventually it will have its own playlist, all in due time. What we were talking was, we're using this as a jumping off point, and we said that this is mashable. No one's talking about the complex relationship with disinformation and mental health. That changes now. So it's changed. It's changed. All right, calm down. Calm down, mashable. Calm down. I've got so many windows open. It's making me feel like it's making me feel like I'm, you know, in the films where Tom Cruise does the computing in the air and it all comes up in the air and all the windows are all everywhere and he's like moving them around like that in the films. It's like that because I'm sat quite close to the telly, so it's like that. It's just like all windows, like whoa. Anyway, conspiracy theories are a mental health crisis. That's the conjecture. This article by Rebecca Ruiz is actually really good, and it's backed by some really interesting science. Oh, not that horrible science. It's not them, is it? It's not them. It's the media and them. Well, Mashable's like kind of more independent. I don't know. I haven't validated Mashable's credentials, but you know, they seem more independent. It's got that person's name on it. Hello, Mary. Nice to have you here. New chatter that you get a little first-time chat around you. Nice to have you here. If you want to volunteer any piece of information, the only piece of information I would ever ask you to volunteer is what part of the world you're from, generally, because it's nice to know. We've got a variety of people all over the world that come into chat, so it's just nice to know sometimes. But you don't have to tell us. Don't feel I'm pushing you around or anything. It's just nice to have you here. This article from the International Journal of Environmental Research and Public Health. Oh, Shropshire. That's nice. That's up the road from me. It's a nice part of the world, isn't it? It's Stoke, Shropshire, I think Stoke is. I did a lot of being in Stoke when we were doing work with Eddie Hall. I've been up in Stoke for that, and I absolutely adore the Great Pottery Throwdown. It's one of my favourite programmes ever. And that's set in the potteries. I think it'd be really nice if they'd, do some sort of social rejuvenation based around that. Get them going again. Stoke is Staffordshire, right? Fuck it. Fuck Staffordshire. They're rubbish. That's the next. That's not the right. That's not even the right one. Fuck those potteries. Smash that pottery. I hate that programme. It's rubbish. They're the other ones. They're over there. Fuck them. I'm just so bad at geography. I'm so bad at geography. No, yeah, pottery's cool. I love it. See, now it turns out you are a potter. So there you go. Once it's in your blood, it probably congeals and stays there because it's like clay. We are looking at conspiracy theories and how they affect mental health. This big one, the International Journal of Environmental Research and Public Health, this big one, we're not going to get into that tonight. But that's one of the things that backs... Oh, the Welsh border. That's over there. I know where that is. I can imagine driving to it. I used to live in Bristol. That's over that way as well. Maybe Bristol's a bit further south, but yeah. Like if you get me in a car and you get me on the motorway, it's quite possible I'll drive 200 miles in the wrong direction before I realise. That's actually happened to us once, right? Right, now's an opportunity to get my big face story out. It's nothing to do with anything. More north. Good. Never eat shredded wheat. The Scotty Hottie over here once got all his mates in the car after the rave. So it's early in the morning now, the sun's coming up, and we're all like blasted after the rave. And Scotty Hottie's got all his mates in the car, and we've only got enough petrol to get us home. So it's pretty important that we go the correct way. We're off down the motorway, and we stop at this petrol station because we're on the point where we've only got enough petrol to get us home. Everyone's got to chip in, and we're putting in this petrol. It's the, oh God, I hope this gets us home moment, yeah? And while we're there, someone gets the map out, because it's back in the days with a map. This is before Google Maps and any of that. We had a piece of paper with all the... we didn't draw it ourselves. You have to unfold that. It's got everywhere on it. And we're looking at it, trying to work out if... Because we're idiots. We're all in the car and we're battered and we're idiots. So I'm driving the car and I'm filling up the petrol tank. And this lady sees the map out and she says to us, oh, you're going the wrong way, because she hears our conversation. I said, what? And she goes, well, you're looking to go that way up the motorway. You're heading towards London. This is like nearer to Watford Gap. You want to be going that way up the motorway. Turn round and head the other way. You're going the wrong way. And I thought, you chuffer. So I filled up the car and I got in the car and had a little conversation with my mates. So this lady says we're going the wrong chuffing way. And I wasn't happy because I'm the driving one. Everyone else can get as fucked as you want, can't they? But I've got to drive this car. They're all like, they don't care. Well, they will care if we don't go home. So I said to them, look, are you sure that we're going the right way? And they said to me, listen, we're absolutely certain we're going the right way. Get back in the car. What are you doing listening to some woman you've never met before? We're all your mates. So I said to them, absolutely. What am I doing listening to some woman I've never met before? You're all my mates. And on we went to London. I don't live in fucking London. I live the other end. I live in the Midlands now, or back then as well. I live in the Midlands. So on we went to London until we saw the big signs that we were towards London. You know, the big signs, Heathrow, the airport. And I thought, fuck this. Like, half of them are asleep. I'm not listening to it. I turned around and went back. We didn't make it home. We got close. We got to Banbury. I came off the motorway knowing that our petrol was going to run out, and I didn't want to run out on the motorway. We got to Banbury, and I actually got us to this big hill, and I wondered if I get enough momentum down the hill, it can take me the next 17 miles to get us home. So I tried to push the car down up this last bit and down. All my mates are sat in the car, bear in mind, so it wasn't an easy job. And in the end, I had to park it up and say, listen, everyone, we failed, and I'm going to call my mom. So it was one of them. I think we had mobile phones, so we were saved. But yeah, a group of Brits here. What's all the first? Prince William was booed at Liverpool. I don't know who's booed. People have got some funny ideas. It's the Queen's Jubilee, I'll have you know. So for the next week and a half, I should do some celebratory streams to celebrate. You know, I was discussing with my dad the other day about whether it was appropriate that people are born into such disgusting wealth and privilege, and just by merit of being born royal, they should enjoy that disgusting wealth and privilege. Or maybe was it time for a modern world to say, look, you can still be the monarch, you can still have the crown, but you're going to have to live in a council house like all the rest of us, or get a job. Because, okay, you can have your, lineage and your title and your, trace your history. That's nice. And we'll still be, if you see William, he's the king. He's the king. Lad, bloke down the pub round my way, the king goes and drinks in the pub round my way. Oh, does he? Anyway, round my way, we've got this mechanic who's quite good as well. Like, it wouldn't be such a big thing. It would just be like, oh, did you know? Like, I'm the king and officially royal, but like, other than that, no great shakes. Just, we're not, because we don't, unless we're really connected with the divinity and the idea that they were put there by God, unless we're going to still adhere to that, maybe we just forget about all the, pomp. Maybe you can keep the castle and the ceremony and have the tourists go around it. This is what it was like. This is what we did with the castle, and all the tourists can go around it and have a look. We don't have to. You don't have to fucking live there, do you? Still, do you? Or you want the millions of pounds? Okay, I get it. Do you want to go touring around the world? Okay, I get it. You don't have to. I mean, it's a conversation to have, isn't it? It's a conversation to have. Some people are born into different situations. They get lucky. But I also still, in my heart, think, God save the Queen. It was drilled. Nationalism has been drilled into me. It doesn't serve me. Nationalism doesn't serve me. It serves the politicians. But it has been drummed into me. And I believe in global community, don't I? Global citizenship. Not globalisation. Not that bad globalisation, but global citizenship. That, a person born randomly in another country is every bit as human as I am. And I don't want to create an arbitrary border and patrol it with my gun. I'd rather just be like, yeah, okay, if the birds are going to fly from here to there, then be my guest. Like, let's all just try and get on with each other, that sort of stuff. I don't know, let's not get political. But inherently, strangely, built into me is this passion and pride for the Queen, this love of her and sense of duty and honour. And there's part of that is part of the royal construct. So there you go. God bless America. Exactly. Let's all make sure to drum that into our children for years to come, because it serves the society. It does. Some things actually, it's funny, I should say this on Mental Health Monday, but some things do actually serve society. Society changes, and the things that serve society changes, but sometimes it's not bad to adhere to a structure that serves the rest of the people as well, that helps everyone out, like, rather than kicking off all the time. Sometimes it serves society to pledge allegiance to the flag of America and the basic structure and rules, and to agree to behave. Do you know what I mean? But if it's also tied in with the fact that somebody has to have a millions of pounds and a big gold crown, like, maybe we can do the society thing and not the gold crown. I don't know. But in the same way, I love the Queen. I don't know how I'm going to feel when it's Charles. I don't know how I feel when it's William. But the Queen, I chuffing love her. So there you go. We're all human, aren't we? Even the Queen shits. So we're not looking at the complex one today because it's too complex. We'll get to that though. These episodes on Mental Health Monday from here on into eternity, it seems, if I can't get my head in the game and get on with it, is conspiracy theories in the mental health crisis. No one's talking about the complex relationship between disinformation and mental health. That changes now. Well, it's been changing. Exactly. Look, you'll still make a long table with. I still want to do the garden parties. I still want to celebrate the Britishness and the culture. That's fine. I absolutely still want to do that as well. But I don't think. On the flip side, I don't want to let that get so far down the road where I have to fucking defend it and not let anyone else have a go on it. Like, we're a complex, multicultural world, and I like food from all over the world. So I cook different foods from all over the world. And if anyone's going to tell me I'm not allowed to have Chinese food, they can fuck off. And if anyone's going to tell me that Chinese people are not allowed to come here and cook food, I'm going to tell them to fuck off. So there we go. I will try and push on with this. So what we learned last week was basically that in the places where you need critical thinking skills, that people with unmet psychological needs, and that can be quite a lot of us these days, talking about safety and security and knowledge and self-esteem, find in conspiracy theories a relief and some sort of sense of, even if it's temporary, satisfaction. And it can satisfy those people who are suffering with anxieties about the world, because there are unknowns, let's just say that. Confidence became an antidote to the misery of what might come next. We saw that in the same place as people are offering that confidence, there are people that actually run the confidence trick, where they offer you confidence but take something from you. And that in all the whether conspiracy theories work out to be true or false, we're not necessarily today breaking into any specific one and saying that's real, that's not. But we're saying that in the places where people are trying to share truth, there are also bad actors who think this is a group of people who I can try and con, because they're looking for something, they're looking for underlying to have their desires for security and self-esteem and satisfaction of knowledge met, and I can offer them these sort of things and maybe confuse them. So that we all agree that sort of thing goes on, from the clickbait things on the news where, do I need to click and see what Holly Willoughby's fantastic new weight loss tips, or this will shock you, unbelievable, click this, all that stuff. That's all there. It goes on the internet, and the internet is the place where people look at this stuff. And whether it be DuckDuckGo or Google, wherever people go to look for this stuff, the conspiracy ideas or whatever, there will always be bad actors in there trying to get in and mess with them. We saw that. And we saw that these people distrust government authorities, and maybe that's right to do that. They find political polarisation invigorating. So there's a politics involved, and not trusting the government. The government want to get involved there as well, don't they? So there's all this sort of stuff, cunning propaganda, elaborate lies, far-fetched ideas. And there might be truths, I'm not saying there's not, but we'd accept all this other stuff is in there as well. So we had a look at that last week. We looked at the difference between information and disinformation, misinformation and disinformation, where misinformation is someone getting confused, or someone saying something and it not being quite right for honest reasons. But disinformation is spreading conspiracy theories to confuse people for malicious reasons, to maybe profit off people, maybe politically profit off people. But some people are doing it deliberately, and some people are doing it accidentally because they're ignorant, maybe. And some people are actually sharing truths, we can say. People who immerse themselves in the polluted information have got a preoccupation with distress, solving riddles and clues. They wait anxiously for predictions to come true. They have fractured relationship with loved ones. They increase their isolation. They're like scanning the news. They're like into this thing. It becomes like it's not just like, how I like, how do I say this? We talked about country and western the other day. Maybe they'll clone the Queen. I think she's a little bit late. I think Elon Musk might be getting close with Neuralace, but I think even if you clone her, I would be interested to see whether her genetics are enough to create the same person with the same memories. You wouldn't. I don't know if you'd have the same memories. I don't know if they'd be in there. I think you'd have to Neuralink your memories up to the hard drive and then put it back in your brain. But maybe they could. Tell you what they have done though. What we have done for hundreds of thousands of years is we've passed on our genetics by having children. That's the closest thing we come to. And her granddaughter is the spit of her, isn't she? Really, her granddaughter's got a lot of her genes in her, so she must take a lot of solace from that and see, her own sort of smile shining back at her in her granddaughter. And I just feel really, I don't know. I think there's some beauty in that. Some beauty in that as well. Does the rest of her family share her ethics? The Queen, is she different from them? No, I think the reason we love her so much is because as we've grown up, she's always been there, and she's been a bit like our grandma. Like, she had her own life and times and what have you. There's been Diana and the conspiracy behind that and all that. But bottom line, they presented to us as a benevolent figure, and she does a speech every year for Christmas, and she encourages love and compassion and kindness all the time. So I think that's, it might be public perception that they're trying to manipulate. Maybe she's not very nice. Maybe she's trying to come across as being nice. But from what I've seen of her interactions, one of the things that I truly respect the Queen for, we're doing two things today, aren't we? Now we're doing the Queen and we're doing mental health. But she hasn't been too political, and she's also, especially in the war, when she was a princess during the Second World War, she drove ambulances and I think it was ambulances. She didn't say, okay, well, there's a war on, so get me in the bunker and hide me away, I'm the future queen. She said there's a war on, so if everyone else is having to muck in, this is what I said about earlier about being a normal person. Like, she took her up, she wasn't, how do I explain this? I'm going to do this because I care and it makes me feel emotional. Big face. No, I believe in her for this because over her life, if she says, oh, I want to go and do what they're doing, if I want to go and sail a boat with those kids on the beach, sorry ma'am, you're the Queen, you can't just go sailing a boat with the common people. Like, there's etiquette and formality, and they're going to behave differently when you get there, of course, because they're going to be like, oh shit, it's Princess Elizabeth. And on top of that, there's this like protection aspect of public figures need to be protected from the public sort of thing. But you know what I'm saying? So I don't think she's got to live the same normal life as we have. And I think there's some things that she got to look at from afar and think, that's... I think she's envious of certain aspects of common, normal family life that she didn't necessarily have. There was certainly maybe more of a distance between her and her parents, and this formality in this, structure and upbringing. Maybe not as much as the royal family, ROYLE, the average normal family around here has. So I think in some ways she looks at the humanity in people and reflects it. And so during the war, I think this was her chance where no one could say, no, you can't do this thing because you're the Queen, we've got to protect you, and formality. There's a fucking war on, I'm driving the trucks like everyone else. Got a problem with it? Well, no, not really. It's quite noble. And future royals have gone on to do the same sort of thing. Prince William flies an air ambulance. So, giving some of your... we can't all fly the helicopters, can we? We're not all that lucky, are we, Prince William? And Prince Harry was in the army for other reasons, killing foreign people. But, devoting some of your life to service of the country is not something you have to do, but I think it's quite admirable. And when she did that during the war, in a dangerous time where people were targeting ambulances from the air with bombs, I just think there's a real nobility in that. And it wasn't on the front line to go and blow people up and kill people. It was that compassionate side again, wasn't it? Driving injured people to hospital. So that stood out for me as a mark of character. And she's not often able to express her character in those ways because she lives a formal life. But when she did get the opportunity, she did express it. So I respect her for that. Yeah, it's just one of those things. Back to the conspiracy theory of mental health, because these episodes are the worst episodes of Mental Health Monday I do from a mental health perspective, because I accidentally talk about all sorts of other shit, and I never really get through this Mashable article, but I don't mind. It's still a good stream. I'm having a good time. You're here. You're having a good time. No one can argue with that. So, like, well, you could argue with it if you want, but that's you arguing with yourself then, and I wouldn't bother. You'll always win. Their friends and family have noticed. Friends and family lose loved ones to this cult thing. What we were saying about this preoccupation with it is people who get into this conspiracy stuff. And this is what I was going to say, is like, for me in music, or I don't know, the other week in chat we were talking about country music. Let's say I get into country music now, I have a bit of a listen to it on my radio, I go walking the dog and listen to it a bit more, and then I go to dinner and whatever, and go to work, and then come back, maybe next day I listen to a bit more, buy an album. That's normal sort of behaviour, isn't it? Yeah, that's normal sort of behaviour. But the difference would be, and the way they're characterising this, is I get into country music, the conspiracy of country music, but I get into it and I don't just listen to it on my radio. I have that radio on at work and I'm searching for it on the phone at my break time, and then I don't just buy an album, I'm buying all the albums, and I've listened to them all fucking twice and backwards, and over dinner we're talking about country and western, and when we go to the pub we have to talk about country and western because I need to talk about it because I'm always finding new country and western. I've gone so far down the country and western rabbit hole that I've grown a fucking great big beard, and now I'm strumming a guitar and sitting on a rickety rocking chair and nobody recognises me anymore. And okay, you can really devote your life to country and western and love it. Some people do. I'm not criticising country and western. That's an art form. It's a form of expression. It maybe even is mentally healthy for some people to get deep into their love and their passion in that way. But even that, you might say, you know, when it comes to Christmas dinner, that's the member of the family who, you know, is a little bit different to everyone else, shall we just say. And God help it if we have to listen to them talk about country and western again. But with country and western, it's an art form and a passion expression, and you can find a healthy community within it. I think within this, they're saying it's a bit more like a cult, because it becomes less of a healthy community and more of a preoccupation, obsession, and it affects their relationships with their loved ones. And they've done these like all of these bits that are highlighted blue, as we were looking at last week, are actual studies or papers that have been put forward in what's this one? This is the news, ABC News. This is a personal account of how conspiracies took over her life. So there's something behind all of these blue links. I thought they were all going to link to scientific papers, but this is anecdotal. But that's okay. I think they did mention that some of their things were anecdotal last week. I think they did mention that. So you can follow up what they're saying here with why they're saying it. So all those things there, we've seen it's negative to your mental health, net negative. And the people that are into it often go down this rabbit hole. They end up following. This one was interesting, solving riddles and clues. You know, we all like puzzles, don't we? Don't we all like puzzles? I like a puzzle. I lost my life, I lost my job, all I have is my dog. I took her back to his... That is true, actually. In country, women are a little more... There's love and there's love lost, isn't there? And then there's lost my mind love, and then there's love you better watch out. In these conspiracy theories, people seem to... We have solving riddles and clues. Everyone likes a puzzle. We all like a bit of a puzzle, a crossword. But if your predilection for solving riddles and clues isn't satisfied because you can't figure out all the answers, then you might be on the news or down the rabbit hole waiting anxiously for predictions to come true. What's Trump going to say next? Where's the next thing coming from? You know, it might be bugging you all the time, and that's not good for your mental health. That's what we're saying. The complex relationship between mental health and false information, whether misinformation or disinformation, has far-reaching effects, yet it's routinely overlooked, they say. The field of research is relatively new and underfunded. And I guess that's kind of true, isn't it? Because the idea of conspiracy theories being a mental health issue, that's got to be relatively new. Because it's only been since like JFK and the moon landings that we've really been in on these things. Isn't it? Maybe they've been more farther reaching. I mean, we used to have witch hunts, but they're more moral panics and folk tales. I don't know. We can actually say the field of research is relatively new, though. We can say that for a fact. There's also legitimate concern about pathologizing certain. Pathologizing is saying that something that's pathogenic is something that causes the disease. So we've got a problem with saying, they're saying here, we want to be careful not to say that conspiracy theories make you mad. We're not saying that it's a pathology. We're not pathologizing conspiracy theories. We're not saying that if you're into conspiracy theories, you're going to go mad. That's not a direct correlation. So we're careful not to do that. But it's become increasingly clear, without efforts to meaningfully address people's mental health needs, before or after they become involved in conspiracy, we'll make little progress towards defeating the dishonesty that pollutes our dialogue and discourse. So that's a bit of a shame, because I thought we were worried about people, but we're actually worried about the honest discourse in society. But what they're saying is, if we don't tackle the mental health issue, then people can't have a legitimate conversation, and they're not going to stop talking shit. Until we can sort people's mental health out. If they're still talking shit after the mental health is sorted out, we can talk about it. But if they've got mental health problems and they're talking shit and people are talking shit to them and it's making their mental health problems worse, no amount of talking about it and debunking is going to help them. Like, that's a real critical point. Because if you're coming to this because you're into conspiracy theories, because we've been doing a lot of work on that in our YouTube channel this last couple of weeks, or if you're coming to this because you've got interest in mental health and not really, worried about the conspiracies, but you might know someone who knows someone who's into this sort of stuff. It's really interesting though, isn't it, that unless we remove the mental health aspect, unless we help the people with mental health problems, then we can't be sure if we're getting a legitimate discourse about these things. But the real interesting point there I found was that debunking, because a lot of channels are like, oh, I'm science, I can prove the earth's not flat, I've got physics on my side, ha ha ha, fuck you. But I'm not looking at these people with these conspiracy, because they've been coming onto our stream and talking to us in the stream. What about this about the flat earth? What about this about the free energy? And what about it? And I have to talk about it on stream sometimes, but what I'm not thinking is, oh, fuck you, you idiot, you've got a bad idea, therefore you're an idiot. I worry that the con trick is to collect up people who are easily led with bad ideas and give them other bad ideas and con them. But I'm worried about these people, and if mental health's involved, no amount of me debunking it's going to help. If they've got a delusion, now some of these people haven't got delusions, and I'm not saying they will have. I'm not saying, like I just said, it's not pathologizing it. I'm not saying that because you think it's a conspiracy, you're mad. But I am saying that it's led us to learn this, and I care about mental health. I care about it in the community, and I'm worried that some people are getting their mental health affected by this conspiracy stuff. That some people, it's a bit like smoking weed and being susceptible to psychosis, I guess. Some people smoke weed and are fine and enjoy it. Some people who are susceptible to psychosis, and this has been shown and proven, I won't argue this, some people smoke it and then they have a psychotic break, maybe. It affects them psychologically. So knowing that some people are psychologically affected by conspiracy, knowing that, let's say in a group of 100, 10%, I don't have a figure, I'm making it up, 10%, 20%, I don't know, whoever's affected, if it's just one person is affected, but their mental health is deteriorating because of all this stuff, no amount of debunking, hello capital K, it's a never-ending journey, this conspiracy stuff. So I'm not doing it tomorrow. We're having fun on stream tomorrow. I'm not doing it tomorrow. I can't do it every day. I'll tell you what I've been wanting to do for ages, and I'll do it now because you're here. I've got this white face paint, and I've been wondering if I just do a donk on my nose like that. Now that's going to spoil the rest of the edit, but that's what they do. I've seen them doing this on Instagram, and there's a filter for it on TikTok, isn't there? That's the new makeup. You do your contours, right? I'm stepping into the world of drag. This counts. And they just put a little dot on their nose like that. They put a line up the nose like that. This is contouring, basics 101. A line at the top of your nose and a little dot like you're a little cute elf and the shiny nose is catching the sun. And that's that. So there's my white face confirmed. Exactly. White face. Fuck those white people. I'm going to parody them by painting my face whiter than white. And oh shit, that is racist. I thought it doesn't even, I can say that because it's not even racist, but it is kind of racist, even if I am like 40% or 80% ethnically white. But that, have you not seen it? Have you not seen it? I promise you, you'll spot it now on Instagram. Now that I've said it, all the young girls are doing it. It's like a highlight. It's like a super highlight, and it makes me look like the lightest cat. I'm cute now. I look cuter. What's it for? Honestly, I've seen it. Either that or it's just the way the filter looks. But I haven't got anything I can wipe it off with. This is what I do. I'm not wiping it on. Oh, I can wipe it on my t-shirt. I'm not doing the rest of the episode with that on my face. I thought I was doing the rest of the episode with that on my face then. Right, we've got it off, that's fine. People just think I'm a really terrible cocaine addict that has put the cocaine all over the top of his nose somehow, trying to snort it into my eye. They'll think, what are you doing with all that powder on your nose? That's what they do though, they highlight down there now and they put a little dot on the end. It's like you're a little, like whiskers. Little shiny nose. I'm exactly like Genshin Impact. Exactly, I look like Genshin Impact. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to become a VTuber. That was the start of it, just a line down the nose. And the next thing you know, I'll have rabbit ears. So, if these people are becoming involved in mental health problems, right? If any percentage of the people that are involved in conspiracy theories, you can't argue it with them. You can't debunk them because they're not interested in being debunked and talking on a logical level. They're having mental health problems and they're being satisfied by the answers they're finding in a more abstract, a less mainstream source of media. And that more abstract, less mainstream source of media has got its own ideas about what it wants to do with those people. There are some bad actors in that mix and they've got to navigate the bad actors and the honest confusion. They've got to learn about all sorts. Like today I showed you, I've had to learn all about electricity. Today's stream on YouTube I did Chuffing Tesla, so now I know I don't know it all, it's all slipped out of my brain again since earlier today, but we learned all about I wanted to say electrodes. Electrons, magnetism, just all sorts of stuff. Like, unless you're going to be a complex, and at the same time you're having a mental health break and a problem, and that's why you found this stuff in the first place, those people are not going to watch a debunking video and say that's made my life better. In fact, the debunking might destabilize them more, because it's what the fuck, I don't believe that, I don't trust that, I don't believe you. Like, more stuff to contend with and confuse me. You live right next to Elon Musk. What? Elon Musk? Shout at him. If you live near me, open the window every now and then, shout, "Oi, Mars boy!" Mars boy! And he'll know that's him. He'll fucking move, won't he? You'll get his security round to have a word with you. They won't know where you are though. You just shout it out the window, "Mars boy! Mars! Mars!" Like that. Why am I bullying Elon Musk? Mars! In Texas, do you know what? Texas is, congratulations on moving there. Snippies thinks it's not safe, but if you have moved there, congratulations. I think I've heard that there's a renaissance going on in Texas, and there's a lot of interesting, thoughtful people moving there. Lex Fridman moved there, Elon Musk has moved there. There's a lot of interesting people moving there. There's a bit of a renaissance happening, and now you're there. Worst power grid in the system, yeah, but they don't have to pay tax. I suppose none of you Americans do. I don't know what the system is. Anyway, if you've got mental health problems, I'm not going to fix you by telling you that the earth is not flat. I'm not going to fix you by proving stars or anything like that. That's what we've learned today. We've been learning it for a week. It was a perfect storm, so this is where we pick up today. And we've already done 40 minutes, so I've fucked it already. If I try and edit these, it's going to be a right chuffer for me, because it's like 40 minutes of shit and 1 or 2 lines of actual mental health support. But, you know, that's all your fault today, so I'm happy with it. We've done 3 hours on YouTube earlier. My brain is already fried. It was a perfect storm. When Leela Hay discovered I can't say that. Quinone. The reason I can't say it is because the algorithms will pick it up and bin me off. When Leela Hay discovered quinone at the beginning of the pandemic, the British college student was already experiencing anxiety. She'd applied to receive counselling a month prior, but a year passed before she was moved off the wait list. This is a huge problem in mental health. This is the biggest problem that we have with mental health in Britain. I don't know about America, but certainly in Britain, it takes you nearly a year to get through the system, to get seen. And God damn it, there's more and more people piling up. We need to be sorting that out as a priority. We need to be seeing people much, much more quickly, because by the time they get seen, they don't have the same, they're not in the same mental health place, because it's a year down the line and whatever's happened has either made them worse or they've got through it or whatever. But we need immediate care when people need it. Power problems, build a new Blackpool Tower. Exactly. We won't have power problems. I can just suck it out of the air with my tongue and some wire. It was actually, I've just realised that if that were the case, if the air were that thick with electricity that can be drawn with these devices, then we would accidentally be making them all over the show, wouldn't we? Because people fuck about with stuff, don't they? Like, we've got kids' toys that are like, build a tower out of metal, haven't we? There's kids' toys. I just used my tongue because it was what I consider to be the most electrically conductive material, and I only know that because when I touch a battery, I can't believe I'm going to do this now. When I touch a battery, you know, a battery, like when I do that, nothing happens, does it? But when my tongue, I get tingly on my tongue. So that's proof of something. Proof that I'm an idiot. We're too busy putting trans kids' parents in jail to fix the grid. Yeah. Okay. I don't know anything about these rights, and these are. I'm not even going to say the A word, the other A word, the ABORTION word. I'm not even going to say that. America's having a bit of kerfuffle about that, which I'm a bit surprised about. But I'm not weighing in. We're not doing a stream on that politically. Like, obviously, you know, I think freedom to be choosing your own destinies is quite important, isn't it? The main thing I think about Roe versus Wade, I think I can say that without saying the bad words. The main thing I think about that is, this has been the case, I'm going to say this, I'm going to go on a tangent again about this now, Roe versus Wade in America, but I think, you know, why not? I don't know, people might not assume it because it's a modern world, but I am male. That's my assigned gender by society and what I perceive of myself from internally. It's my heart, my balls, whatever you want to call it. I'm male, yeah? So I'm pretty sure about that. And I'm pretty sure that all that Roe versus Wade stuff, all of that, now this is just my opinion, you don't have to agree with it, but I'm pretty sure all of that conversation mainly affects not me with my set of testicles. I don't grow any babies in my tummy. Yeah, so mainly it's not affecting me directly. I know in principle I could be involved in the process, but I am not currently involved in the process. Yeah, right? So I think if I'm not involved in the process, right, or you're talking about it in chat now, you've written the word. It's letting you have the word in chat, so maybe Twitch is fine with it. But I've got to be careful with certain words, terms of service and conversations. Maybe that's a normal word that people can say. I feel a bit like we're hitting the nail on the head with the word, but it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, my point was just going to be that, and I think I've made it clear. I'm not. So don't think I'm going to start telling you what to do. If you want to have opinions and ideas about that, then be my guest. If other men want to wade in Roe versus Wade, if other men want to wade in with their opinions, me personally, I might be saying, "Oh lads, I don't know if our voice is the most pertinent voice in this conversation. If anyone who can carry a baby, put up your hand. Yeah, anyone who can have a baby in your tummy, put up your hand. If all of those people have been heard, if all of those people have discussed it and they've got an opinion, and all of them have been heard, then we can start turning to the alternative opinions. But until that's all been sorted, let's just leave our balls out of it, shall we? That's my feeling on it. You don't have to agree. You can say no. Men should be ruling the conversation. Men can weigh in if you want. Yeah, they can. They've got absolute opinions. Absolutely. If you really push me, I can give you my opinions. If you really push me, I can. But what I'm saying is, I don't like the tone of this whole conversation. The way America, I see it in the news, and I see a lot of patriarchal institutions. I see a lot of men, frankly, with opinions and political opinions. But I'd like it if that conversation was being led first and foremost by the most interested and educated women. That's just my feeling on it. And then because again, it's about, we talked about this earlier with conspiracy theories and electricity and stuff. I think in a way it's about expert opinions in a way. And I don't mean learning and science, but I mean living and experience. And I just honestly think there are certain things that I can't be more expert than a woman on, because I'm just not a woman, even if I wanted to tuck it in. And I respect trans people, of course. Yeah, I respect trans people. If you want to go the full way and have the op and the chop, I'll call you she till the cows come home. It's up to you. But for me, I don't have that feeling in me, and I'm not going to push my thoughts and views on what some, again, trans people. I don't want to chop mine off. So if you do, I'm not going to bully you and say you can't. But I'm also not going to lead the conversation about it. Maybe I could have more of a voice in that because I've actually got one to chop off. But I shouldn't. I'm not leading the conversation. Let's let the other people lead the conversation about their lives, and let's let the people who are involved in this thing lead the conversation about that. And if they can come to some sort of consensus or not, or whatever, or they can inform me and educate me, I'm happy to be informed upon and educated by two. I'm less happy to be the educator and the informer on that, because how dare I? Yeah. Big conversations. It's Mental Health Chuffing Monday. See, I get to say my bit, but then you can't say your bit in chat. Tuck it in, please. Tuck it. Give it the old tuck. Get rid of that. Tuck it in. Squash it. Now get the cellophane out. I'll make a woman of you yet. Right. When Layla Hay discovered the Quanon, yeah, you can drop it on me in chat and I can talk about it and you can talk about it. It's fine. This is free form stream. It's fine. When we want to do something really hardcore and serious, I'll just tell you to shut up. But I'm enjoying this. It's fine. I'm actually enjoying it. It's fine. Happy to see me live. Thank you. And it's happy to have you here, seeing you alive and well, capital K. We've taken a bit of a jump on stream recently because of that conspiracy stuff, but you're always forever in my heart. It's like, yeah, we're standing on the shoulders of giants, and you're one of those giants. So thanks. See you in a bit. Be good. I know you're good. I've seen you being good. I'm a famous YouTube streamer now, but only in a very small niche, circle, and only within a fragment of that small niche circle. Only famous to the Martin Leaker and Jade fans, and only the 10% of their subscribers that have watched our content. So only famous amongst a very small niche, very small group of people that might have mental problems. I'm not saying they do. I'm saying if anyone did, I worry about them and I hope we can help them. Yeah, famous. I'll tell you who knows me. My dog, he recognises me. He doesn't want an autograph though. He's not interested in my autograph. When Layla Hay discovered QAnon. Oh, I said it now. Shit. I said it. You say Quanon and they bin you off. She was anxious. She had applied for mental health support. She didn't get it. She was stuck at home in lockdown. She found her first Q-related conspiracy theory on Facebook. How can they stop you saying the letter? That led to a vast collection of conspiracy theories about Hollywood and political elites. And I can't say this next thing. Again, they think they eat babies and shit, don't they? And Donald Trump saved the world, and he's going to save everyone. I've heard this stuff before. So that isolated her from her loved ones and fell deeper into the abyss. And see, you know, I was saying earlier, I thought it was political. I actually think that the person who pumps out all that shit about that is Donald Trump. I honestly believe that, because it keeps them in their minds, and bottom line, they're on his side. They're not on his side because of his ideas about feeding the hungry, or, you know, even the build the wall shit. That's not what it's about for some people. For some people it's about this. When he's reached those people, if you want to be president, if you want to, you know, win that election and get everyone voting for you, you still need these people. Donald Trump has found, well, maybe he hasn't, maybe it's not him doing it, but it certainly fucking serves him, doesn't it? It certainly seems to serve him. And it came up at a time, it came about at a time, like this was the new thing at a time when he was trying to get elected. So you got mental problems because your dog chased sheep at the weekend. Oh god. The stress. I'll tell you, I'm going to give you a little big face moment for this, because I totally feel you. You get this anxiety when, like, you know the dog is going to be generally good, hopefully, and you know that you've generally got it under control, but as soon as, like, you're out in the woodlands and you've got that leash off, the lead off, that was the Americanism, the leash, the lead off, there's like always in me, and I've got it inbuilt in me now. I can't seem to I can now relax because my new dog is very nice and convivial. Police, bloody hell. Police, the farmers don't like it, do they? But then the farmers seem to own everything. I can't go for a fucking walk without treading on the farmer's land, can I? Maybe the farmers should be a little bit more considerate of us and not dominate it with their crops and sheep. Well, then I can't eat. Oh no, now I can't eat. Well, maybe we can have a bit more of an organic farming setup where I can walk across it without causing a fuss. I don't even want to eat sheep. You don't have to kill them for me. Police, fucking hell. I used to have a rescue dog, and he was a foxhound. When I got him, I mean, I love him. I loved him. He's dead now. When I got him, he wasn't a bit of a nightmare. He was full of beans, but not a nightmare. And for a good few years, he wasn't aggressive in any way. Didn't show any problem signs. I did let him off the lead, and he used to fucking run off. And sometimes he wouldn't fucking come back. And this one time we took him to the woods, and my sister took him to the woods for his walkie, and then she rang me up and said, "I'm going home, your dog is in the woods, please go and get him, he will not come back for me." And I had to go to the woods in the middle of the night and sort of sit there all night trying to find my dog. Like, he was a right chuffer for that, but as he got on and a bit older, he started biting. And like, when I was younger, I used to flip him over and pull his legs and all, you know, he used to play doggy, but I don't know what it was. I have a couple of ideas, but he'd been mistreated before. He always used to try and bite people's feet. And when we had the house renovated, there was a lot of the builders were in, and there was a lot of like destruction of the house. Literally, they knocked some walls down and did stuff, you know. So I think he was really anxious about that. He tried to bite the builder's feet. I remember that. So maybe it was that sort of time in his life. Maybe someone trod on his foot by mistake or something. I certainly did once, and he fucking went for my foot. As he got older, he did some biting. I'll just be straight frank about it. It was me first, he bit, but he went round the other members of our family a little bit. It wasn't awful savaging, but it was like, get off my thing. Fucking hell, did he just bite me? That actually hurt. Maven, you just fucking bit me when I just told you to get off the sofa, you fucker. Like, what's going on here? And I'm not aggressive. I actually cried when it happened, but I'm not aggressive. I never taught him violence or anything like that. But he got this biting problem. He was from the rescue, and he did have a difficult upbringing, I know. One of the tests I did with him when I first got him was I rolled up a newspaper and I went like that. And now, if the dog's never seen violence, doing this is like throwing a stick. The dog's like excited and fun. You know, rolled up this newspaper and went like that. And the dog's like, "Are you going to throw it?" But if the dog's been abused, I did this, I rolled up the newspaper, I went like that, and he just went straight under the table. And he didn't fucking like it. So I never did that to him again. Never, you know, no more fast movements. None of that. I knew he'd had a problem. So as he got later in life, he expressed his dissatisfaction with biting more often. There was once on a walk where a strange dog ran up to him and he bit it. So that was a problem. He had to go on the lead then, didn't he? and I took it as my responsibility. So I took it like whenever anyone was around in the house, I would muzzle him if there were guests that didn't understand the system. Most of the time, the people that lived at the house had to deal with this system of like, be careful with the dog, you know, don't drop food on the floor, and if you do, don't try and pick it up. He'll maybe go for your hand if he thinks you know, like, just careful with the dog. He's had problems, we're trying to work it through. It never got completely solved, and I couldn't let him off the lead, like, you know, like you're saying, because of other dogs as well. So that high anxiety that used to live with me. I used to walk him late at night, so I didn't see other dogs. I used to walk him early in the morning, not see other dogs. But used to go out in the woods and stuff and give him his big runs, but sometimes not off the lead, but on the big extendable with no muzzle, thinking, God, I hope we don't run into someone. I understand this anxiety. Fluffy, like your dog's fluffy like a sheep. It's not like you feel like you let her down. It's not that. Like, you do your best over your lifetime to give them the absolute best chance of a good life. Toward the end with Navin, my dog, what happened was that he bit me to the point where I'll be fine talking about it. I'll be fine. He bit me to the point where it was like serious, and he was really old, and I took him to the vet and said, like, I don't want to have this dog put down, but what do you think? And the vet said, look, he's obviously got some sort of problem. Maybe I believe this is his way of telling me that he was feeling like physically pain, because he just went, like, I was like petting him on his tummy, and I must have touched the wrong bit or something. He didn't like it, and he bit me really serious, and I had to make this, like, we'd had him for years, and he was an old boy, and he'd gone blind in one eye and grey and all that. And like, I knew he was getting old, and, you know, it was nearing, whatever was the case, whether it was going to be maybe he had cancer, I don't know, we didn't get to find out or anything like that, because the vet said, look, you know, the right thing to do here is to put him down, because it's dangerous, and maybe he's got something wrong in his brain, and maybe he's doing it by mistake or whatever, but do you want to run him through loads of tests, because he's biting you and he's really fucking old? Like, this is a problem. And I had to make, because other people around, like my mom, my sister, I had to make the decision on their behalf as well to do the right thing for their safety, and it was fucking, like, yeah, maybe he got dementia. He had a funny moment. It wasn't really him, but it was serious. It wasn't like the other bites. It was like, if there was a kid involved, the kid would have been in real serious trouble. But because it was me, I was able to just hold my shit together and look away, and he was biting my arm and going a bit nuts. And another time he bit my toe off. That's a different story. But he was biting my arm and going a bit nuts. So I just had to, like, you know, just be cold and cool and not react and not respond and not kick off. And then once he'd, like, realised and calmed down or whatever it was, pull my arm away, and I had to leave the room and go to the emergency room, and they had to put stitches, and it wasn't very nice. It wasn't very nice, but, you know, I survived it. Unfortunately, in a way, he didn't. He got one last day with me where I got to give him everything. What's the point in keeping all the dog biscuits in the cupboard if I'm going to be putting the dog down? I just gave him all the treats, and took him out to the woods one last time, and then we took him to the vet, and yeah, it's making me emotional. Mental Health Monday, I'm not supposed to drive myself into depression and crying, am I? But I can't talk about this without crying, because he was my boy, and I did my duty by him, and he, you know, he had a wonderful life, and I know this is what they say, and it's just what they say, but, like, for you, you know, it's not your fault that he got out, and, you know, you're doing your best, and sometimes things aren't always easy, so sometimes things don't always go exactly to plan, but, you know, you do your best with these beautiful creatures and give them the best chance, because if I didn't, some other fucker would have put him down when he was young. Some other fucker put him in the dog's home. That's how I got him. Like, if you didn't do your best, then that dog would be out running about, shooting, getting shot by farmers left, right and centre. So you do your best, and occasionally you have little slip-ups, but hopefully it doesn't, you know, hopefully it's not a dead child. Do you know what I mean? Like, God help those people who have those violent dogs and leave them with the kids. I worry about that. But that's not the world we're in. My dog wasn't that big. He wasn't that, like, he never went and attacked a child or anything like that. But that's my story of that, and it was fucking harsh, but we did the right thing. He lived a good life, and overall I can carry in my heart the fact that from the day I got him to the day I did that duty for him, I gave him everything that he ever could. I gave him other people wouldn't have given him that chance. So he's lucky he had me, and I'm lucky I had him, because I learned a lot about my own character through that. That's a good way to look at it. Conspiracy theories. Conspiracy theories can affect your mental health. So can grief. We've got a good video about grief. So if you found that what I was describing emotional, that's fine. We all find those things emotional. If you're reflecting on your own situation and you're feeling emotional, that's fine. We find things emotional. It will pass. It won't be forever. And you take the joys when they come, because you're an emotional sort of person. So you're able to get more joy out of things. So reflect on that as well. That when these, when it's not running, scaring the sheep, when it's not the police, and you'll look back and you'll laugh. Do you remember that day we had to have the fucking police out for this one? You look back and laugh. You do. When you're taking the joy out of moments in life, the ability to be emotive, to be emotional, that gives you that ability to soak up that joy. So it's waves. The joy doesn't last forever, nor does the pain. So we just get through these things together. Stolen and dumped on the road. You see, yeah, it's these stories that begin with tragedy and maybe in some way are tragic. My boy didn't get that start in life that would have led to a well-behaved. My new dog, years later now, my new dog is, I can let him off the lead and he'll just stay by my side. I don't have to worry because he's such a good boy. But I've had him from a puppy. So maybe these stories that in some way start in tragedy have the joy in the middle, and maybe tragedy befalls us all, doesn't it? We all have to go through that final thing, but they're lucky that they've got you, because you're going to be there through you've already proven, Mary, that you're there through the difficult times. Like marriage. I would say this about animals, but marriage, for better or for worse, when for better for worse, in sickness, in health, when I'm chasing sheep and bringing out the police and being a good doggy, through the difficult, we do these things because, I guess they're lucky they found you to have the strength of character to deal with their character. And maybe sometimes we question ourselves, God, should I be doing this in my life? Should I not just bin off this dog, this tiresome dog that causes me this trouble? But no, you would never do that, would you? You'd never do that, because it's about love. And so if it's about love and you're after it's all passed, after everything's said and done, the love is the great thing, isn't it? So living with that love and having that love is a joy. So sometimes with these tragic stories, they begin with tragedy and they might end in tragedy, but in the middle there's a lot of love, and there's a lot of love waiting for us ongoing into the future because of the things and lessons we learn through that process. So it's about love and strength. Commitment. It's about commitment, isn't it? Commitment, love and strength, and in return, you have all that joy, and there is a lot of joy. So I'm not going to say it made me sad. When I think about Navin, I'm going to remember all the things that made me laugh, made me smile, made me proud, made me surprised, made me worried, made me staggered in disbelief. One time, my Navy boy. One time, I had him on the long lead. So you've been going through this. You've got this long lead on the dog, yeah, and they want to go longer, don't they? They're on the end pulling on it sometimes. We're on this long lead, and in the bushes, out in the fucking woods with my wellies in the mud, because I have to walk him off the beaten track. In the bushes, all of a sudden there's this noise, and it shit me up. And it shit him up as well, because at first, they're these chuffing dogs. They're just like us, really. At first, he was shit up, but he straight away. Before I could this is seconds. This happened in. This stag deer came bolting out of the bushes, full antlers, the full works, bolting out of the bushes. It must have been hiding from us on the way as we came up, and then as we've come up close, it's thought, fuck it, I'm going to have to break it. I'm going to have to make a break for it. So it's gone, and it's gone across this field, and this field's like the Somme. This field's like muddy. Trudge, it's it's just a fucking mess, this field, and the deer's gone off it, and Nathan's gone after it. He started running full, I know what's going on here. I can see him, the extendable's reeling, and it's It's like in Jaws where they get the barrels on Jaws and it sucks down the fishing wire, and like Jaws is pulling down the rope and it's going. My extendable's like steam coming off it, and I think I've got enough time to think to myself, fucking hell, like he's going as fast as he can. I can't run on this field. It's like a fucking, like, it looks like someone's been racing cars round in the mud. It's just like a muddy field. I can't run on that in my wellies. So he can. The deer's gone. The deer's well gone, and he's after it. I've just got to hold on to this thing, because when it reaches the end of the thing, when it unravels, when it reaches the end, that's the end, and I'm going to be attached. So I'm ready for that. I'm ready. He's going to break his fucking neck if he don't slow down. But what can I do? I don't want my dog to run off, so I'm holding on to this for dear life. And as it runs out, it does this moment, and I'll never forget it in my life, where I'm at full tension for a brief. It's like in the films where something really fast happens, but it goes slow motion. For a brief second, I've got hold of this thing in full tension, and at the same moment, there's like a click and a release. And all of a sudden, I'm not holding any tension, and I'm, judded with it, back into reality. What the fuck? At the other end, up at his end, he's hit the end of this extendable lead at maximum velocity. And something's had to give, and it's just pulled the two metal connecting parts of this end of the lead where you clip it on. They've give up. The metal's gone. So the metal's broke, so it comes fast back to me, and it hits. I've got an empty bit of metal on a lead, and while I'm looking at that, realising what's going on, it occurs to me, hang on, and I've looked up, and he's at this point, it's 3 fields away now, and he's after that. That was an afternoon that I won't forget in a hurry, of trudging across muddy fields, knocking on doors. Have you seen my dog? I'm really worried because he'll bite you if you see it. If you see him, don't try and grab hold of his collar. Like, that sort of conversations. One lovely gracious man said, "What are you doing on my property? I don't give a fuck about your dog. Get off my property. I'll drive you off if you get in the car. I'm driving you off. There's the edge of the property. Don't come back on. What if my dog's on there?" Like, it was such a day. He eventually was found in an adjacent woodland that we also go walking in. And he was found by me because I had to go walking every fucking woodland that I could think. I reasoned it out. If he's gone that way and he's gone this distance in that amount of time, in this amount of time he'll have gone this distance. So if I drive to this other part of the woods, I literally drive to the next village that I can walk in from the back, maybe I'll see him there 20 minutes, half an hour later. Here he comes, you fucker. And I had to do that thing where I have to lie on the floor and pretend like I'm really interesting, because at this point I'm fed up. Bear in mind, I'm properly fed up. But I had to, because I want my dinner, I had to roll around on the floor like, "Oh, what's this I've got? Oh, look at what I've got. Oh, look at this." And like I found a fucking rabbit or something on the floor. Oh, and he's come running over. What have you found? What have you found? And I'm like, just gently clip you on the lead. But for about 6 hours of my life, I was in anxiety heaven. I mean hell. Anxiety hell. Yeah. So we've been there. We've both been there, haven't we? We know. We all know. It doesn't leave you. It does get stress, isn't it? It's stress, and because you learn to live with the stress. This is part of Mental Health Monday, so I'll stick on this for a bit. Because you learn to live with the stress, you forget that it's like not normal, that everyone else doesn't have this, that other people who don't have a responsibility don't feel the pressure, or the stress of that responsibility, and they just get to go out and go to this and but I don't want to leave my dog. I really do want to come to your party, but I'm going to leave about 10 o'clock because I want to walk him when I get back. Those other things that are on our minds, that responsibility. There's nothing terrible about responsibility in principle. Actually, like I was saying earlier, it can provide you with life experiences that show you how strong and and I want to say important to this animal. You're fucking everything, and that is important, because we bred animals and then some people just don't give a fuck, like just leave them by the side of the road. Well, I think it is important. I'm vegan, so I think it is important. I think it's important with children as well. I'm not fostering a child. I don't think I'm capable, but like, you know, I admire people who do for that same reason. Responsibility is not a terrible thing. It comes with pressure. It comes with, you know, stress, and we learn to live with it. The important thing is that we learn to relax and release it sometimes, and we recognise it in ourselves building up. And certainly after Navin died, I still felt like I used to go dog walking with my sister with her dog, and like, I don't even have a dog, not even holding a lead, and then sometimes I'd be like, shit, where's my dog, where's my, like a panic attack just out of nowhere, because I'm so used to there being tension on the end of the lead that without tension it panicked me. What am I doing something wrong? Like, where is he? You know, yeah. So I think it's natural for us to sort of burden that responsibility, shoulder that burden, to filter it into our daily thought pattern without recognizing it. And then when we do that, it becomes like a part of our normal, like, because I'm so used to doing it. Like I said, I do it without the dog now, so it's become part of me. And it doesn't have to be. It was a response initially to a situation, but I internalized it and I made it part of my setup, part of my toolbox. I think in these ways. I have these feelings quite regularly. So my brain just clicked into gear with anxiety. Anxiety? Oh, I've got a program for that we run all the time. That's your favourite video. Put that one in. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, and unless I consciously looked at it and said, hang on, I'm being anxious because of this and this. It's okay to be anxious for that, but it's not happening now. So I don't need to run that program all the time. And whilst you're still in the moment looking after the dog, you know, day to day, of course it is appropriate to run that program from time to time. So yeah, it's just interesting. And I know that stress can lead to negative feedback. Not like someone saying, oh, I don't like you because you're stressed, but it can build up. It's like a feedback loop, and you get more and more stressed and anxious, and you think it's normal because you don't, you know, it is normal, isn't it? Because I've got this dog and I'm living this busy life and trying to do 10 things. But yeah, I remember the point I was saying earlier about the joy. About the joy. So when things aren't stressful and when they are joyful, I think it's important to note that like, stress is like something being on fire, so you're going to pay attention to that shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, you have to. You're wired to do it. You're wired to do it. Stress is like wired to do it. I've had this problem with Navin. I couldn't leave my dog with someone else as well. I do know what you're saying there. Navin, I wouldn't trust at doggy daycare. It affected my life in a way. It wasn't forever. It's how it was. It's how it was. And there were some people that could look after him while I was away every now and then, and it was just my family. Yeah, just my family. But yeah, you know, interesting. What I was going to say, I think is worth really, you know, alighting on and finishing off was that the stress builds up and you notice it because it's like an alert flag. It's an alert flag. So it's the thing that when we're doing the joyful things, like if I'm bathing the dog, I can be stressed, but actually that can also be a joy and a fun pastime, a fun activity. But I let the joy disappear out of it because I held on to the stress all the time, and I'm waving my flags. So when joyful things happen, I'm sitting through the joy and thinking about what I need to stress about later. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes, because the joy is not a big waving flag all the time, sometimes it's a bit more subtle. Sometimes it's a bit more sublime. Sometimes you need to take some time to feel the moment and ponder over it and start really feeling grateful. You know, those moments seem to get overshadowed by the stress and overwritten by the stress. And so if we can recognize the stress as we have done today, then at least we know it's there, and at least we know there are things we can possibly do to combat it. Look at Stress Buster. We've got our Mental Health Monday channel. We talk about things that are good for dealing with stress. We talk about I should show you the channel now, shouldn't I? On web browsing, Ganji Kid on YouTube, which we might change that name, and you go to the home there, and down at the bottom of Ganji Kid on YouTube.
Inspired.
There's Mental Health Monday. That's a different channel, and we put our videos that we do here on there. And I'm pretty sure we've done. There's one about improve your feelings with 5 methods. That's part of that. And stress. How to express yourself is good. Is a good one for stress. Mindful eating is a good one for stress. Escape the anxiety trap is all about stress. So we look at it on the channel before, and knowing it's happening is one of the most vital things, because we have what's called the cognitive triangle. We'll just quickly do this. Cognitive triangle. Images. We talk about how our thoughts and our feelings interplay, and how that's got a sad face on it. It doesn't have to be sad feelings. Couldn't load that image. Well done. Come on, Scotty Otter. That's a good one then. That'll do. Our thoughts and our feelings are our emotions. I like feelings. Emotions you've put. Thoughts, feelings and behaviours, please. That says them all. That one's a bit different though, isn't it? Why are they all so different? Why have we not just got the one that I like to use with the colours? Where's it gone? Where's my favourite one? They've changed the ones that come up on the list. That's it. I like this one. That's it. There it goes. They haven't hidden it from me. It's just me with my eyes and my looking. The cognitive triangle. So you have a thought. We all do. They pop up from time to time. That can influence the way you feel, because you can be thinking, like we're talking about stress, for example, thinking about that stress, thinking about that worry that you've got. So that influences how you feel. I feel anxious and stressed now. And that influences your behaviour, because you're going to behave in such a way because you're stressed. And it goes the other way around as well, though. If you're behaving all busied up and stressed, it can affect the way you're thinking, because your mind's racing. And that can affect the way you're feeling, because you might. And it can go the other way, though. If you chill out and chill the fuck out, then maybe you don't feel as stressed, and maybe you don't think the same thoughts. And maybe if you can, this is the critical bit, if you can stick a wheel in this, stress is like a wheel going round, and if you can stick a stick in the wheel and stop it, and the one thing that we really can do, the two things, we can't maybe change our feelings as easy. I feel them instinctively. They come up inside me, and I'm sad or I'm happy, and they pass, and they, I watch a movie and I can be both crying and laughing in an hour, so they come up and they pass. But they're harder to just sort of say, I'm going to make myself feel this now. But what I can do is I can think, how am I behaving? What am I doing? What am I thinking? I could think, hang on, let's change my behaviour, let's change my thoughts. They're the things I can change. If I'm doing something that, like on the internet browsing, and it's making me angry, I can just turn off the computer. If walking the dog in a certain place is making me anxious, I can go walking somewhere else, or stay home that day. I know the dog needs its walk, so that's a bad example, but do you know what I'm saying? I'm doing the things that are making me feel these things. I'm in charge. So if I'm feeling things and I don't like it, I'm going to just reassess what I'm doing. I can stick a stick in the wheel. And one of the critical things that we do with mental health theory is we distract ourselves. Like what? Like, I don't have to think. Like earlier on, I was talking about how I had to take my dog to the vet and put him down. It's sad. It's sad. If I just think about that every day, I'm going to be depressed, because it was a sad thing that really happened to me. But I don't have to think about it every day, all the time. And when I catch myself doing it, if I'm doing it too much, if I've turned off, let's say for example, I was going to watch the boxing on the telly, and I've got my snacks, and I sat down and I can't find the remote, and it's over there near the dog's bed. Oh, the dog. Do you remember the old dog? And I have a little moment where I think about the dog, and then I think, shit, I haven't turned the telly on, have I? Look, 10 minutes went by there, and I started to get really sad. But stick in the wheel, let's turn the telly on, let's watch the boxing. I feel a bit sad now, I've been thinking about that dog, but let's just distract myself. Let's not think about it for now. It won't change. I can't change it by overthinking it. Some things are out of my control. I'm just going to put it aside for a moment. I'll put it in the box for tomorrow's worries, and I'll worry about it tomorrow at 3 o'clock at worry time. We'll give ourselves 20 minutes of good thinking time about how to fix that problem in my life tomorrow. Now I'm just going to distract myself because it's making me feel bad. So distraction is actually a really crucial tool, because at other times in the day, maybe it's not dusk and lonely, and maybe I can talk about it with my sister tomorrow, and other times in the day these problems might seem different. Worse, better, easier, harder, whatever. At other times in the day, they might seem different. If they're the same at another time, we can then seek help. But if we just sit and leave that telly off, if I forgot to watch the boxing and started feeling depressed and I let it go, and I said, I don't want to watch the boxing now because I feel unhappy about the dog, I'm going to get the old photos out of the dog. I'm going to look at those old photos, and now I'm crying and I'm looking at old photos, and aren't I a rubbishy mess, and no one's going to love me, and do you know what I mean? I can go well down that rabbit hole if I want to. I don't think it will serve me any benefit. Sometimes I need to cry and get my emotions out, and then I need to move on and again change my thoughts, and after I've done the cry and got it processed and through, I need to move on. Sometimes I need to think about it after a dog walk another day, whatever. So it's critical, I think, that we put a stick in the wheel, and we're the ones that are doing the behaviour, and we're the ones that are having the thoughts. So we're feeling that stress, and the world is giving us that stress and that pressure. We're taking it on, and it's feeding itself into our system as anxiety feelings. We've got to be able to say, hang on, okay, for the next hour I'm going to be stressed because I'm walking that chuffing dog in the woods again, or whatever it is, whatever it is. For the next hour I'm going to be stressed. So I know I am. It's going to stress me. Fair enough. Sometimes I have to go through the stress. But when we get home, I don't want to keep worrying about tomorrow's dog walk, because I'm not on the dog walk right now, and it might be stressful tomorrow, and I might cross those bridges when I come to them, but I don't want to let it dominate my worries for the next 24 hours, because if it does, then I've fallen victim to the stress. The stress has overpowered me, and if we don't see it happening and we're not aware of it, it's so easy to do, because it's quite a powerful thing. Like fire, like anxiety, it can burn the chuffing house down. So I think we've learned something really interesting. We've looked at something really interesting. I'm glad that we were talking to you, Mary, and I'm glad that you've been here today, because even if you knew this already, and even if you've got great stress relief, it's different for everyone. Everyone's got their own thing that they find relieves their stress. I don't think drinking's a good idea necessarily. Maybe one glass, but often people can find it makes them more stressful, and it's got a negative force on their life. Alcohol can cause anxiety. That's like science. So I'm not going to suggest alcohol, but walking in the woods hopefully is less anxiety inducing and also in some way relaxing for you. There you go. Booze gives you anxiety, but we all find, like, if we don't know what it is yet, then it's because we haven't found the perfect thing yet. But that's not to say we should give up as well. Whatever it is that's your thing, walking does it for you. There you go then. I find it does it for me. I find it a really valuable part of my day, just going out and walking in the woods. God knows what I'd do if I had to live in a chuffing tower block all my life. I'd have to just go to the park and enjoy the park. But, some people aren't as lucky as me to live out in the fucking middle of nowhere. There are pros and cons of everywhere. But whatever we have in our lives that we can do to relieve that stress, that we can say, I'm in charge of my life here. I recognise it, so I'm going to counterbalance it. And I'm going to, now that you know, and we've done this, I guarantee this, because this is the way the world works. Like, you'll hear these words echoed in your next walk when something joyful happens, when you see a deer and the dog doesn't run off after it, or you see a rabbit. Or I find this joy in the changing seasons, and recently we had the bluebells come up, and that was just like, wow, this woodland has transformed. Whatever you see in life, whatever happens on the random, and you think, I like that, now I've said it, it's like, let's respond in the same way as we would with that extreme stress. Let's give it the benefit and the merit it deserves. Let's Snippy Snips knows about this, because she works with kids at work, and there must be a lot of joy in just the moments sometimes, just thinking how wonderful things are. Take that joy, feel that joy, allow it to be part of your life as much. Be active, be active in the joy, and then also share that with someone else. Like, so often in depression we become withdrawn and isolated. So often stress is not the sort of attractor. But if you're having joy and something's joyful and you find some good in it, then I always suggest as well that, you know, you sort of pass that on in the moments that you can, whether it's, I don't know, buying someone a book, or whatever it is, telling someone, you know, to chuff off because you're so fed up and you want them to just chuff off. Whatever it is, no, find those joys. Yeah, find the joys, and when you do, experience them. Yeah, because it's waves, isn't it? It's all waves. It's all waves. Everything comes in waves, everything goes in waves. And high energy, low energy, stress, relaxation, joy. At the end of it all things will pass. So it's about being in the moment and living the life. And not getting much more deep than that then, because otherwise I'll start feeling things and it will start making me think things. So leave a cupcake on. That's a lovely idea. If someone left a cupcake on my step, I would probably assume someone's trying to poison me. And my old dog would have ate it, and I'd been like, no, get that dog, get that cake off that dog. He had a loaf of bread once, and I had to watch him eat a loaf of bread because I couldn't take it off him. A whole loaf of bread, plastic and all, like the whole thing was consumed. I couldn't ring the vet and say, it's me again. This time it's a loaf of bread. Should we just leave it and see if he poos that out? And you know, that's some. Oh God, the things I had to deal with. Whole block of the whole block of butter. And you wouldn't believe it, would you? The whole block of butter. Yeah, it goes. You think, well, do I have to feed you for the next 6 days? Because that's quite a lot of butter, and you don't get you're picking out that tin foil out of the back end for weeks. Whole block of butter. The joys. That's turned into a joy. It was a fucking nightmare when it happened, wasn't it? You were like, fuck. But now it's a joy. Now it's a joy that you look back on. So it's funny how that happens. A whole ginger cake. And sick down there. Sorry about the sick, but yeah, a whole ginger cake made me laugh. A whole ginger cake. And it's always the whole fucking thing, isn't it? They never think, like, I've enjoyed a bit of that. I've had my fill. They're like, this is still here. It needs to be gone. I'm going to keep at it until there's nothing left. They're just like animals. Well, they are animals, aren't they? And we love them. Yeah. And I think people are a bit like that too. Sometimes they can be fuck-ups, but we love them. And that's why I'm not here on Mental Health Monday kicking the shit out of people for having alternative ideas about conspiracies. We didn't do a lot of it today, but we'll come back to it next week because we will use this as our jumping off article week on week until I fucking get through it. But if you want to read it yourself, it's Mashable Conspiracy Theories. And I'm now going to go, and all those things we just said, I'm going to now give my good doggy, who's a lovely little doggy, he's a good boy, I'm going to give him a walk around the block. He might not want to go because he doesn't like his nighttime walks, but I do, so I'm going to drag him. I used to have a dog called Cigarette. Why did you call him Cigarette? Because every night... No, wait, my dog's got no legs, but I called him Cigarette. What are you talking about? Well, every night I take him out for a drag. Like a drag on a... Alright, forget it. My dog has got no nose. How does he smell? He can't. He hasn't got a nose, has he? That's a rude question. It's like if I told you that my... It's like if I told you my dog was blind and you say, how does he see? He can't see. He's got no eyes. That's just tragic. These jokes aren't funny. Who's inventing these jokes? I want to see the joke book. I want to see who's been writing these jokes down. I want to see who's responsible. Got a cat too. Yeah, we've got some cats as well. It's funny, isn't it? People think you're dog or cat people, but you're not, are you? You're animal people. We're animal people. And yeah, they're all... I can imagine what it was like for Noah on that Chuffing Ark, although I might not... Potentially I might not believe that he did actually get all the animals on a boat, because I've seen what it's like trying to corral a dog and a cat into the same room when you're trying to, you know that one where when you're trying to go in and out the door or something and you don't want anyone to escape, you know that one. God, I used to have to do that with my nan. Bless her. I used to care for my nan. I used to have to do that with my nan. Didn't want to let nan escape. The month before she moved into our house, one of the straws that broke the camel's back was the neighbours found her out in the road. And like, what's she fucking doing out in the road? What are you doing out in the road? I was going off on the way down to the village. What the fuck do you mean you're off on the way down to the village? Get back in your house. We have to call an ambulance for you now. It was that sort of business. So like, we had to come and move in with us during the COVID instead. Yeah. Anyway, see, memories, happy memories. I don't know why I switched on to that window there. Mental Health Monday today has been this stuff. It's been an hour of relaxing photography in the background. The music from my own relaxing photography to keep me relaxed. There's another thing that I find joyful, taking these little photographs. It's been about mental health. It's been about conspiracy theory. It's been about making new friends. And it's been about having things in common that I actually, this is going to sound a bit loopy, but I'll say it anyway, because I like to do these things. I don't know if it's true or not. You know, I'm not the authentic authority on Chuffing spirituality, but the Vikings had this belief in Valhalla, didn't they? They had this belief in Valhalla. And I've got this sort of belief in the goodness of humans, the goodness of people, and some sort of shared, you know, possibly shared experience. And, you know, maybe, you know, we went through some stuff together in a previous life. I don't mean it in a deep, serious way that you have to start saying I'm a loop head. Oh, he believes in reincarnation and I think in science. Just none of that heavy stuff. Just, you know, a romantic idea. Just a romantic idea, a storybook idea that maybe, you know, some of us met before, didn't we? Some of us fought the good fight on the battlefields of yore, and some of us fell. And, you know, we meet each other again in Valhalla, and maybe, you know, on the battlefields we don't always remember where we've been before, and maybe as part of that, this journey, you know, maybe we don't have the memories. Maybe the cloned queen can't remember her previous memories, her previous lives, but we recognise in good people when we meet, we recognise these similar qualities. You know, we love these animals and we love each other, don't we? And that's why we find time for each other and why we help each other along. And these people, Snippy Snips, Mary, you've just met Snippy Snips today. Like I've told them before how they support me, like financially with the tippies, but I've started making ASMR videos a long time ago, helping people with mental health, talking about anxieties, and we found each other through the internet, and it's their good nature and knowing that people are out there are good and that are also fighting that good fight, knowing that there's also people out there that care, that Mary, like knowing that you went through that same shit that I went through with the dog, you know, like I hope you feel that today here as well, that, you know, maybe we met each other in battlefields of yore and we're still fighting this good fight, you know, maybe in Valhalla we'll recognise it, but maybe it's only little sparks, you know, maybe it's only the twinkle in people's eye that give us that that recognition in the real world of today. Whatever, I'm just talking about romantic ideas, but what I'm saying is I've enjoyed it, it's helped me immensely, and that's the main thing. It's all about me. No, I've really enjoyed having you here today. That's been good. Mary, Snippies, anyone else who's been watching and not commenting, that's fine. You know, you don't have to comment, it's fine.
You write born to kill on your helmet and you wear a peace button. Was that supposed to be some kind of sick joke?
I think I was trying to suggest something about the duality of man, sir.
I don't know if you saw, you couldn't see, I was waving my legs as well as my arms there. I was really going for it. Fuck. I have to do that every time we have the tippies noise. I designed it, it's my own fault. I designed it, the tippies noise, and I waved my arms. That's the screaming sound of a marching band from Japan who decided to scream as part of their performance. What do you mean start page? Go to my page, thank you. Coffee. Go to my page, thank you. I'd like to say thank you. I'd like to say thank you for fighting the good fight. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, and I was just, you know, alluding to that romantic idea that, you know, we see it in each other, it resonates, and it gives us energy. You know, I honestly believe that's a better way of saying that. You know, without the romantic Valhalla stuff, without the weird stuff about reincarnation, a romantic idea, a story, but without that, it resonates, doesn't it? And it gives me energy to keep pushing on, thinking, yes, there are good people in this world, and yeah, that's enough. What I've said there makes sense. I don't have to anything. thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being you, all of you. And I did it then, and I can't stop it because I'm broadcasting. I feel like I have to fill the time. I don't have to fill any more time. Our work here today is done. Thank you very much for being here. If you want to see more of me talking, go on YouTube and watch me talking, because that will be there endlessly. There's hours of it. But for now, I'm going to stop talking to anyone except my dog, and I'm going to go and take him for a walkies and enjoy picking up dog poos off the ground. So you be good, my little puckosh, you be good. And don't worry about tippies, Mary. Don't worry. Work it out in your own time. If you feel to tip me, it will still work when I'm offline. So that'll be great. Or if you want to tune in next week and save it up for next week, that's fine. I'm not here to try and grift from people. It's wonderful if you want to tip. That's lovely for me. We use this coffee system because I get more percentage of the money than I do with Twitch or YouTube. That website gives me like 80% of the money, 90% of the money. So it's the best one for that reason. But we're not here to try and grift you for tips. Thank you for thinking of it. In the long run, we're going to try and develop into a media product that has a sponsor, and that'll take the pressure off anyone else to feel that they have to contribute. But just being here is the main thing. And then, if you do work it out in the long term, then, if you buy me a coffee, I will be grateful. But and I do want more and more people to help contribute, because that's how I'm eating, essentially. This is my job. So thank you for thinking of it, and just don't feel pressurized, please, because you've got enough chuffing going on in your life without throwing money at me. So if you have extra to share, I will be gracious and say thank you, but it's not about that here. So yeah, I'm just happy you've been here. Let's be fair, I would have just read the normal stuff that we can read next week anytime. Being here has created this whole thing. It's not a one-way system. I'm not the entertainment. Being here has created the thing. So you being here is super valuable to me, because I've gained a really enjoyable couple of hours from it. So thank you. You be good, my little podcast. I'm going to press the stop streaming button now, and I'm going to go and walk the dog. So you be good. You are good. I don't have to tell you.